Every NFL franchise has that one thing, that pattern that they just can't seem to break no matter how hard they try or how many times it burns them. Some of these habits are kind of funny, others are pretty painful, and a certain subsection are just flat out baffling. But here's the thing. Fans already know what their team's bad habit is. They've lived it, screamed at their TVs about it, and taken to social media to post about it. So today, we're going through all 32 NFL teams and calling out their favorite bad habit. So, without any further ado, let us dive right into it. Arizona Cardinals, ownership futility. The Bidwell family has owned the Cardinals since 1972, and in that time, they have had just 11 seasons above 500. Yeah, right around 20% of the time. Yikes. There have been brief glimpses of hope, but they never last long because, well, the franchise's dysfunction always leaks in and kills the seed of success before they can really bloom. Some franchises have bad luck. The Cardinals, well, they have bad ownership. Atlanta Falcons, misusing stars. This one dates back to the days of Julio Jones when Atlanta simply could not get one of the best receivers in the league the ball in the end zone. Now it's guys like Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and Kyle Pitts, super athletic, talented playmakers that any team would kill for, but Atlanta just can't quite figure out how to utilize properly. Baltimore Ravens, losing in January. Lamar Jackson is a two-time MVP, one of the most electric players in all of football. I mean, in the regular season, the man is nearly unstoppable. But then January hits and something changes. Turnovers spike, the efficiency drops, and the Ravens lose their identity. And unfortunately, quite a few playoff games in the process. Buffalo Bills losing to the Chiefs when it counts. Josh Allen is a top 5 quarterback, and Buffalo has made the playoffs consistently. But there's just one problem. Kansas City. The Bills are 0-5 against the Chiefs in the playoffs while going 4-1 against them in the regular season. They can beat KC when it doesn't matter, but when it does, well, heartbreak every single time. Luckily for Bills fans, they don't have to worry about Mahomes and co. in the 2025 postseason. Carolina Panthers, impatient ownership. David Tepper bought the Panthers back in 2018, and ever since then, well, he has fired 3 head coaches, Rivera, Rule, and Reich. Then he forced the team to trade up to draft Bryce Young first overall in 2023, only to push for his benching in year 2. Look, I respect that Tepper wants to win now, but every time he forces the issue, it just sets the franchise back even further. Chicago Bears, ruining young quarterbacks. Chicago is where quarterbacks go to die. Caleb Williams' father actually said that before the draft and thought Caleb's had a chance to buck the trend. I mean, he wasn't wrong. We just saw it with Mitch Trubisky. So let's hope that the talented USC quarterback is not the next victim. Cincinnati Bengals, bringing in players with off-the-field issues. Back in the mid-2000s, the Bengals had well, let's call it a reputation problem. You see, it seemed like half of their roster had a rap sheet. Now, it has gotten a little better in recent times, but since he just can't seem to shake the trend fully, a la their decision to keep Jermaine Burton in January of 2025. Cleveland Browns, churning and burning quarterbacks. Here is a stat that'll make you sad. The Browns have started 42 different quarterbacks since 1999. Yeah, 42. That is pretty dang insane. The factory of sadness just keeps on a-churning. And until they figure out the quarterback position, nothing's gonna change. Dallas Cowboys, living in the past. America's team has not reached an NFC championship since 1995, and they're gonna spend the 2025 postseason on their couches yet again. But that doesn't stop Jerry Jones from continuing to say that this is our year, even though it hasn't been close since the turn of the millennium. Denver Broncos just can't draft wide receivers. Since Demaryius Thomas and Eric Decker in 2010, the Broncos have whiffed on nearly every wide receiver that they've drafted, with Cortland Sutton in 2018 being the lone exception. Cody Latimer, Carlos Henderson, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, all of them busts. And now it looks like Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin are the latest in the line of disappointments. Detroit Lions, a heartbreak. The Lions are good now, like really good. And yet, they still find ways to rip your heart out. In 2024, they blew a 17-point halftime lead in the NFC Championship, the largest comeback in conference championship history. 2025, as the 1 seed with 15 wins, they lost to the 6 seed Commanders after Jared Goff threw 4 interceptions. Look, the talent is there now. The results are even better, but Detroit still Detroit's when it matters most. Green Bay Packers neglecting special teams. The organization just does not care about special teams, and it keeps costing them. Both in the regular season, where they've ranked towards the very bottom of the league for years, and the postseason, where the third unit has cost them big time, like that botched onside kick in 2014, or getting a field goal and punt blocked in 2014. Houston Texans, power-tripping execs. The Texans have a habit of giving the wrong people far too much power. Bill O'Brien convinced ownership to let him be head coach and general manager. He promptly traded DeAndre Hopkins, one of the best receivers in the league, for a washed-up running back and some mid-round picks. Then there was Jack Easterby, a former team chaplain who somehow worked his way into the front office and had ownership's ear on football decisions. The inmates were running the asylum. Houston's problem is not talent. It is trusting the wrong people to run the organization around it. Indianapolis Colts can't quit veteran quarterbacks. Andrew Luck retired in 2019, and ever since, the Colts have refused to actually develop a young quarterback. Instead, they've brought in Phillip Rivers at 38, Matt Ryan, Joe Flacco, and in 2025, Daniel Jones, and then Phillip Rivers again. This time at 44 years old, 59 months since his last NFL snap because their Jones tore his Achilles. Yeah, they tried and failed with Anthony Richardson, but I mean, come on. At some point, the Colts have to figure out how to get a quarterback of the future. Jacksonville Jaguars hiring crazy coaches. The Jaguars have had 5 head coaches since Shad Khan bought the team. Let's just say they got a type, and it's crazy. Urban Meyer lasted 13 games before the scandals caught up to him. Kicked his kicker, got caught in a bar with a woman who wasn't his wife, lost the locker room entirely, and then you have Doug Peterson, who threatened to fight a reporter, and then Liam Cohen, who showed up to Duval with one of the most bizarre Duval cries that we've ever seen. Kansas City Chiefs? Expecting Mahomes to figure it out. The Chiefs have won 3 Super Bowls. I don't think anybody's feeling sorry for them. But their approach to skill position players is interesting, to put it lightly. You see, they'd rather just let Mahomes try and figure it out, rather than actually investing in the kind of talent to make his life easier. And you know what? To his credit, he's done a pretty dang good job to date. But as we've seen in 2025, the man is still only human, and Casey might be wise to put some real supporting pieces around him. Las Vegas Raiders drafting fast receivers. Al Davis had a type. Fast. Very fast. He drafted the fastest player at the Combine in his final 3 drafts from 2009 to 2011. Darius Hayward-Bay went 7th overall in 2009, ran a 4.30, picked up before Michael Crabtree and Jeremy Maclin. And his son Mark seems to have continued the trend, like we saw when he took Henry Ruggs in his 4.27 speed, 12th overall in 2020. What makes it all the more painful is that they took Ruggs over CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson. Oh, man. Yeah, look, speed is great, but, hey, you have to actually be able to play football too. Los Angeles Chargers, chargering. The term chargering exists for a reason. You see, it seems like regardless of the players on the field or the coaches calling the plays or heck, even what city they play in, this team always finds a way to lose in the most shocking of fashions. There's perhaps no better example of that than in the 2010 season, when the Chargers finished first in offense and first in defense and missed the playoffs because they had the worst special teams in the NFL. Los Angeles Rams, mortgaging the future. While they've softened on it a bit the last couple of years trying to get younger, the Rams' philosophy is pretty clear. They have no issue trading all their draft capital for stars. Win now, worry about the future later. And you know what? It worked. They won Super Bowl 56. But, you know, when that goes wrong, it goes wrong in a major way. Like 2022, when they were 5-12 and looked every bit the part of one of the oldest teams in the league. Miami Dolphins? Well, they can't win when it's cold. South Beach is warm. beautiful weather year-round, perfect for football. You know, unless you have to play anywhere else in January. The Dolphins are 0-10 in games under 40 degrees since 2017. And more often than not, it isn't even close. Instead, they look sad and cold, and they get their doors beat off. Yeah, it ain't no wonder that they can't win once the playoffs come around. Minnesota Vikings losing in the NFC Championship game. The Vikings have lost 6 consecutive NFC Championship games, which makes for the longest streak in the NFL. 6 times they were just 1 game away from the Super Bowl, and it always seems to be in heartbreaking fashion time and time again. Like the wide right overtime loss in '99 and a couple of wallopings mixed in. New England Patriots drafting wide receivers that never pan out. New England cannot draft wide receivers to save their lives. Since 2000, the Patriots have drafted 18 wide receivers, and really only Deion Branch and Julian Edelman turned into stars. And I guess Demario Douglas has been serviceable. The rest of the lot though, like N'Keal Harry, their first rounder in 2019, and Tyquan Thornton, who went in round 2 of 2022, well, they've just been a complete mess. New Orleans Saints ignoring the salary cap. The Saints spent years pushing cap hits into the future in order to stay competitive during the Drew Brees era. And now, the bill has come due. They've been in cap hell for 3 straight off seasons, cutting veterans, restructuring deals, doing whatever it takes just to field a roster. Brees got his ring, but the franchise is still paying for it. Literally. New York Giants, scared of change. The Giants hold on for far too long. Every single time they do it. Tom Coughlin stayed 2 years past his expiration date. Eli Manning got a few more seasons than he should have. And don't get me started on Daniel Jones and Brian Dable. Feels like New York sees the writing on the wall and then just waits another year to read it without fail. New York Jets wasting premium draft picks. Speaking of graveyards, the Jets have turned squandering premium draft picks into an art form. Sam Darnold went 3rd overall in 2018. Zach Wilson went 2nd overall in 2021, making the Jets' first team since 1967 to draft 2 quarterbacks with top 3 picks within 4 years. Yet, here they are in 2025, still staring down a top draft pick without a franchise quarterback anywhere in sight. Philadelphia Eagles letting their top coordinators walk. The Eagles have a coordinator problem disguised as a Super Bowl hangover problem. After winning Super Bowl 52, they lost offensive coordinator Frank Reich and defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz. By 2020, they went 4-11-1. After losing Super Bowl 57, they lost Shane Steichen to the Colts and Jonathan Gannon to the Cardinals. Got bounced in the wild card. After losing Super Bowl 59, they lost Kellen Moore to the Saints. And now, well, their offense is in shambles. They can get to the mountaintop, but they just can't seem to figure out how to retain the guys that got them there. Pittsburgh Steelers can't quit on their coaches. Steelers have had 3 head coaches since 1969. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. That's it. Tomlin has never had a losing season in 18 years, which, yeah, that's honestly really impressive and pretty dang awesome. But here's the flip side. He also hasn't won a playoff game in 8 whole years now. The stability is admirable. But come on, at some point you have to wonder if being too loyal to fire is actually holding the franchise back. San Francisco 49ers relying on injury-prone stars. Kyle Shanahan is one of the best coaches in the league, and he always seems to make do with what he's got. But the 49ers could make his job a whole lot easier if they stopped relying on stars that just can't stay on the field. Last year, it was McCaffrey. This year, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, and even Brock Purdy. It is endless. Wonder they always seem to come up short come playoff time. Seattle Seahawks ignoring the O-line. Back when Seattle had Russell Wilson, they never once prioritized protecting him. People thought it was part of their strategy to lean on his mobility. But, you know, in the time since, they've remained in the bottom quarter of the league consistently, regardless of who their quarterback was, and continue to let their quarterbacks get beat up on. Tampa Bay Buccaneers can only win in the NFC South. The Bucs keep winning the NFC South. Great. Problem is, they keep winning it very ugly and then get chased out by real competition in the playoffs. 2022, they won the division at 8-9 with a losing record. In 2023, they won it 9-8. In 2024, they won it 10-7. That is 4 consecutive NFC South titles, which for a franchise record is great, but I think this just points to a decent team winning in a bad division. Tennessee Titans chasing out stars. The Titans have a propensity for chasing out their best players. The trend started with guys like Steve McNair and Vince Young, who went from Rookie of the Year to scrap heap in a blink of an eye. Then it was Derrick Henry and head coach Mike Vrabel. Yeah, it's no wonder that the heartbreak just continues year after year in the Music City. Washington Commanders, addicted to veterans. Under new ownership, the Commanders have developed a clear strategy. Sign as many old veterans as possible and hope they have one more good year left. Defense is headlined by Bobby Wagner, who at 35 doesn't run like he used to, but hey, you guessed it, uses smarts to compensate. Zach Ertz, another 35-year-old, is one of their go-to guys over the middle. Eerily reminiscent of the days when they would swing big with guys like Albert Haynesworth and Deion Sanders. Oh well, I guess the more that things change, the more they stay the same. But hey, which team has the worst bad habit? What do you think we got right here? What do you think we got wrong? Was there anyone's patterns that we may have missed? Let us know in the comments section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.